So principle one is all about bringing value to the front. Now, there are story techniques out there called the STAR technique. And if that's new to you, you could jot it down, but you'll know it soon because everyone talks about it. Situation, task, action, and result. And STAR is really great for people who are fantastic communicators. But most people during an interview are not very good at communicating, or they get a little nervous, or some people are new to interviewing in general. What I'd like you to do is bring a little bit of the result to the front. Let me play act for you a quick example. Let's say I meet Anand, and he is a candidate, and he did not prepare, and it sounds like this. Anand, are you a leader? I am. I actually recently had an opportunity at work. Things were kind of really busy and crazy. My boss was talking to me a lot about costs and how we had to get things down. And also, the team was growing. He thought it might be a good opportunity. What do? Well, when we're not prepared, we tell a story that rambles, or we get into too many details with the situation. What we do with our STAR, or bringing a little bit of the answer to the front, is bring something that's very clear, like this. Anand prepares. Anand, are you a leader? I am. Recently, I led my analyst team of 14 people through a new training program. Not only did we get it done 1 week earlier, but the retention rate was very high because we saw the results go up by 20%. Let me walk you through what I did. He brings a little bit of the data to the front. Now, data can be dollars, time, maybe some kind of number like a measurement like weeks, or some kind of percent. Maybe you were involved in reducing costs or growing something. Also, sometimes it's really valuable to bring in a hook. Like, let me tell you about a situation where I persuaded the senior management team to buy a computer system they didn't want. Now, immediately, if I'm the listener, I'm thinking, wow, what is this story all about? So practice bringing things to the front. And I'm going to give you a little homework assignment for those of you who are training right now for interviews. This is what we call impact stories. And impact stories are a list of stories that if you have these figured out and ready to tell, you will show over and over again that you are creating a lot of impact. Impact is the acronym, and let me give you a little bit of tips for each one of these. So let's go to individual contribution. This is a story about what you did separate from the team, where you kind of stood out or thought about something differently. That's important nowadays because sometimes all of our work gets gobbled up by the team. Manage or lead. Even if you didn't manage a team, you should think about a time when you stepped up, like I mentioned earlier. Persuasion. How do we persuade people in business? Well, there's a variety of techniques. We could think about logic. We could think about data, like dollars and time. And of course, we could think about emotion. People are saying, is there a win-win here? How do we succeed? You can do this. Think about those three elements as you come up with your persuasion stories. Analytics. It's easy to kill people with the model or the details of what you analyzed. With analytic stories, focus on the takeaway, the big insight, and you're going to do really well. Challenge or failure, here's a key word for you. Not just what you learned, which is what most people think, but put down the word transformation. With transformation, you're talking about actually what you were before and how you've changed. It might sound like this. Well, yeah, definitely, as the leader of the team, we missed our deadline, and it was mostly my fault. But ever since then, the way I lead is very different. You are transformed. And then finally, team, it's really good to think about what's going on with your ability to be a good team member. So really think about specifically how you can show that you are a good player with the whole team. So I would encourage you to make these stories, and I would encourage you to do something that might surprise you, which is to take a risk. You see, most people, when they want to do a story or make a story about leadership or teamwork, what they do is get out their laptop, type up a few bullets, turn the bullets into sentences, the sentences become paragraphs, and then soon they've memorized this whole script, and guess what? They sound like a robot. And we don't want that in your interview. So I'm going to show you a stepping stone technique where there's 4 major stones that you can put down, and you can actually make your grid to look like this. We'll go through each stone, and I'll give you ideas on how you can take a sheet of paper and map out a story. You'll know where you want to step with the story. That's why it's called stepping stones, but you don't have to go in the same way every time. Let me use my own story as an example, and I'll go back to the hook that I told you earlier. I just need another drink of water. Hold on. A hook doesn't have to be something that is too crazy or sensational, but it definitely should be enough to interest someone. Like, well, let me tell you about the time I persuaded senior management to adopt or buy a $2 million IT system they didn't initially want. Okay, so very good hook, and I put in $2 million. Now, I persuaded management to do this. That's my first bubble. Next to your first stepping stone or bubble, you want to put down answer first. You really want to be answer first. The next thing I want to do is bring in actions. And I've got a simple way to think of your actions. What did I see, hear, think, say, and do? Well, I noticed right away that our manufacturing systems were not integrated, and I was asked by management to pull together the team, find out what they want from new systems, and what would work. I will begin to explain a few key things I did. Again, what did I notice, see, what did I hear, what did I think, what did I say, and what did I do? So as I'm going through that, I'm going to have some actions. That's your second stepping stone. The third one would be to actually bring in what we call tension or a problem. With tension, we want to bring in something that went wrong. It sounds like this. The big day came and we were presenting to senior management. They kept choosing System B even though A was better. The users liked it and also it was more affordable. What we realized at lunch was that one of the senior managers had a relative who worked for the company that owned System B. Oh, drama. Something went wrong. So what I want from you is your ability to go back and come up with more actions. Perhaps you talk about maybe you developed a better user experience strategy, or you interviewed more people. In my case, I did a better job analyzing. I asked for 3 weeks and asked for a delay so we could spend more time, and I worked on that. Now, the last stepping stone is going to be resolution. So write that down. And with resolution, we're actually telling people what lasted, what kept going. Well, the good news is when we presented again, they chose System A, and not only did they roll it out in the U.S., they used our same approach in Europe. Now, this stepping stone diagram can be even better when you put down things that you've accomplished that were good and things that you might do differently. Interviewers love to hear those kinds of add-ons.